chalk. Chalk. Where do we have chalk? Alright. What colors we got? We got blue chalk. We got red chalk. Shit, you're already here. This is my number 2 pencil. And I'm going to try to turn it into a gnome. Inspiration. Tackle it! No, this is, my wife actually helped me stand it up. I got this mini Kubota I'm borrowing, and I couldn't balance it right with a grappler to get it. All right, so let me check out that. Let me unmod a few people. I'm gonna probably unmod everyone. For a minute here, I'll give you something to look at. Well, I'm not tech friendly. Oh, all right. Come up with some cute names for me for a minute. Appreciate all you coming in. So me and a few channels are figuring out some things with algorithm. Shit. Did I just, nope. Undo. Nugget. I did that on accident. I brought him right back. I told you, I'm bad with tech. Take it easy on me, Lewis. So in here, I have 4 different birds, 4 different breeds. We got Americanas, we got black astrolopes, we got white pearl leghorns, and then we have a sex-link chicken, which is just kind of a scientific chicken. We made them, God didn't create them. That are black stars. So as everybody's coming in, I am removing moderators just to try some things out. I will give a few back. I'll do something exciting in a second. Oh, they're learning to perch. All right, I think I got everybody gray. Sorry, I have not been reading. Let me catch up a little bit. Nugget is a good one. Bread and chicken wing dinner tonight. Nuggets, nice birds. Hey Justin. Hi Cat and Jack. Legendary. Princess. You have the black astrolopes? Arthrolopes? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but they lay a really dark egg and I really like them. Silkies, those are a little bit smaller. What happened to the one you didn't know would make it? It didn't make it. Those are some beautiful rabbits. Yes, they are. KFC called. They want their stock back. I bet they do. I'll sell to them. The chicken price is coming up. Hopefully those are hens. We'll go see where the rest of the flock is. Did I mention I got this kick-ass sticker in the mail the other day? Matches my truck. The dark window tint. Did y'all catch that? And of course, we're Ducks Unlimited member. Where are the other birds? Oh, the hen got out through the hole. I forgot to throw the bucket in there. So that is a hen peafowl. My dog just took off chasing the chickens. This is George. They lose their feathers every year. I never knew it. Of course, the dog coming here. Get over here, Lily. Come here. Come on, George. Lily. I know. Sounds like an electric horn. His feathers will get about 2 foot longer. That's the luxury of having a bird dog. It's the highest I've seen him fly in the tree. That's kind of cool. Fucking dog. Don't. She never seen that either. Lily, that's not the way to get him to come down. Well, he might just be up there for the night. Yeah, thank you, C. Chester. George is 10 years old. I adopted him from my uncle. Albuquerque. Thank you, Duke City. Appreciate you. I pulled over to chat. You heard Peacock and you wanted to see the feathers that were coming. Can't really tell. It's not a branch. That's my male. My dog just chased up a tree. Come on, dick shit. Get over here. Come on. Knocked down a barn. So I got a bunch of barn wood I have to build some stuff with. Firewood, that's how much I got split at last live. But then these are my girls. And I got 2 roosters in my flock. Big one in the back. It's a white Brahma. And that gray one is a Americana. He's about 6 pounds. He's about 8 pounds, and he's still the loser every time. Lily! Come. Calm. Calm. Built this coop last fall, all out of the barn that came down. Lily! Come here! Out! Go kennel up. Go kennel. Son of a bitch. Dog knows I'm on YouTube. She's never done that before. Oh, what did we get today? 6, 7. That's that astrolope egg, really dark compared to the rest of them. 11 today. We literally had 19 yesterday. But not all breeds will lay every day. I know you're pissed. And George is 40 feet up in a tree. I was thinking that last night, Steel City. My wife, I was going outside. She asked me to put 2 dozen in her van to sell at work. So there went $10. And then I went out and collected eggs and got 8, it was 19, I think, last night. So we got 23 chickens, and 2 of them are roosters. And everything out here has been hatched last year, the year before. And then I bought 20 and have 19 chicks right now. Oh yeah, peacocks. So I was told from my uncle that one used to always get out of its pen and it would fly up on top of the silo. It's about 35 feet. But I got him, and every time I let him loose, he was across the field because I only had him. So then my uncle gave me a female, and that's kept him around so far. What's up, Blake? How you doing? Nothing against you. I'm removing all the blue wrenches for a while. There's a few people I'll keep a blue wrench, but we're trying some science with YouTube's algorithms. I had a chicken in my truck for a day by accident. So, old co-worker I used to work with, he had a old square body Chevy. Had a lot of space in between his axles and bed. He came to the gas station one time. We always met at the gas station before heading to work, and 4 chickens dropped out from underneath his truck. They were all roosting. Alright, get my charger in. Blake, you still here? Well, I got it on my mind. Galore Outdoors. What's up, cute? Calling all Blakes. I gotta show horns to get Blake back in here. Let's see if it works. Blake, I found more sheds than you. Come back. I'm gonna give you your wrench back if you come back for 2 minutes. This is the last one I found. Watch it work. I was trying to summons Blake back in here. He said, "What's up? You still here, Blake?" What? Seen a really cool video where the bigger horns than these, but they tie 3 or 4 of them and then drop them up and down. It's an ingenious idea. Ingenious. How many sheds of... Hey, you are here. Hey, I'm going to give you back a wrench. All right, Blake. Everybody in here right now has a channel. Do you a good deed and go check them out. You asked me, you made a comment on one of my posts the other day wanting me to share your channel. Well, this is how I'm doing it. Go meet up with some of these channels. I'll give you 10 minutes. Yeah, Blake, you know cute already. Alright. That perfect sunshine just poked out. Well, I know, but at first you asked me whose sticker it was. That was Outfish Ontario sticker. If you scroll up in the chat, you'll see him. So with your wrench, you can tap on his name, see all the huge fish he has, and push subscribe if you like fishing. If not, you don't have to. But you were busting my balls, so I'm busting yours back. Wood. So I've done an owl, and I've done 2 birds, 2 eagles. I've never done a face. You kind of got to think of it in depth too. And I got this little baby chainsaw, so I was trying to practice earlier a little bit. I was just gonna do a big nose and a beard. I think I'm gonna try to do it more detailed. So I'm gonna start with his eyebrows, try to make them poking out. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna get a little bit bigger saw though. Come here, bitch. Always gotta bury stuff. Wintertime is a bad time for my garage. Side jobs, I just start throwing shit places that don't belong. This rope, that rope, they go up there. Come here, baby. It is cold here today. One of these days when it's warmer, I was planning on doing a live where I take one of my carved eagles that's in my front yard. I got a giant white pine with a huge branch that broke. It's the very bottom branch on the tree, but it's still 25 feet off the ground. Plan on doing a live where I put the bird up in the tree on the branch. Get a quick glimpse of what I'm talking there. For somebody who does trees for a living to have this dumb branch hanging there, it's just like, what? But it's in my own yard. My pole saw couldn't reach it any higher. But this big knob right here, I'm gonna leave, but I'm gonna cut this one off that's dangling. But then that carving will go up on top of that knob. I plan on doing that on live. I'm gonna have to carve Just a big V right there. Then I'll winch that up and it'll sit on that branch. And then I'll trim these branches above it to where you can see it. So I have the other eagle down on my property corner that I carved. Can't quite see it. I kind of messed that one up. I'll show you what I did. I put this carve in here a little too deep. There was going to be 3 different carves and then feathers, but that's way too deep. I didn't feel like making it really super skinny. With the torch, I just burned extra lines to just draw feathers with the torch instead of carving them in because I already messed up at that point. Then my letters get smaller, so I can redo the freedom part. My very first one is the one down there on the pole. This one's body looks a lot better, but that one has a lot more detail into it. Like this one's head. And it's actually carved out of the stump that it's sitting on. The tree itself. I have this log still. It's a giant white pine. And this originally was probably 40 foot up, but that's a piece of log from this tree. And so is that eagle, and so is this, what I'm carving over here. That's my view. I do have neighbors. Neighbors do have buffalo. That is cool to check out. Alright, here we go. Since I'm gonna be I'll flip the camera. I'll just put it this way. Can you guys tell a difference in the quality of cameras, whether I'm using the front or the back? Look at all that space. We grow so many giant pumpkins there. So this is my yard cute. You're a gardener. I'll tell you my conundrum I'm having. So you see the hills. We got the rolling hills. I literally had my garden in the lowest spot over there a few years back. So you can see where that sand pile is and it squares off. That's my drain field. I just put that in last year because my septic pooped out. But my garden was basically where my drain field was. We got 2 inches of rain and everything that was tilled literally ended up in my ravine. Still in rows, but ended up in my ravine. And the peacock's still up in the tree. Dog's looking for him. Lily, come! I don't think he is. I think he flew down. Lily, come here! Eyeballing, I'm not seeing him. Lily, come here. Come here. You're a troublemaker. Troublemaker. The next time I'm at the post office, since I see you're up here out fish, I have a whole tube. Obviously, I'm not going to mail you the whole tube, but I have the Peacock's drops from last year. If you'd want to tie with them, if I can get them to you, they're free. But the long feathers, if you look at them in one angle, they're pink, and if you look at them in another angle, they're green. So it's kind of just like an actual rainbow trout. The sunlight's a lot better, but Even the ends, some of the tails. Like this was one of the longest feathers, and you can tell because it doesn't have that big eye on it. But you pinch that down and it's almost like a fish. Okay. All right, we'll start this thing now. Fueled up. Got a drawing. Scrape a tracer around it. Definitely not finishing this thing tonight. Lily pad. Who's a naughty dog? Who's a naughty dog? Did you put George in a tree? Did you put George in a tree? Any Letterkenny fans in here? Lily, did you put George in a tree? You didn't chase George up the tree, did you? No, you wouldn't do that. She's generally a good dog. I love that episode of Letterkenny. If you haven't seen it. Chesapeake Hound. Chesapeake Bay Retriever. I took a, what do they call them, a Newfoundland and I believe Spanish Waterhounds to create the Chesapeake Bay Retriever. The breed created itself on a shipwrecked island just off the coast of Chesapeake Bay. we doing, y'all? 6 watching, 17 thumbs up. Appreciate it. Let's get back up a minute. Jasmine, Stacy, thanks for coming in. This is my project. Never done a face. Always done birds. But yeah, this is my... Right now I'm just cutting back. I need to go back a little further, I think. And I got plenty of room to work with a big hat to make the ears. Once I get his ears, then I can start forming cheeks, and I want to have a big nose. So I've only ever done 3 carvings so far. This will be my 4th one altogether. Lewis is still here. I know he wants to go for a gator ride. Hold on. Take the coat. Put my coat back on because it's fucking cold. But the sun did come out. The sun did come out. We'll go find wherever the hell my peacock flew off to. Oh. Lily, come here. Come. Come. Come here. Kennel. Kennel. Hey, girl. Come on. Get in there. You made him fly in a tree. You're not going back out there after him. Stay. Ah. Sit down, please. Sit. Sit. Sit down, Lily. All right, she's not gonna listen, so we're gonna lock her in. Let's go get the gator. So I've done 3 wood carvings. I've done 2 bald eagles and 1 barn owl. And the barn owl was definitely the coolest one. I got a community post. I think there's a picture on that. And then a short on that one. And then I got 2 eagles. Short kid. Cold, Cody. I sold my owl because it was actually my 2 eagles. Oh, you bastard. A friend saw my 2 eagles. His wife's favorite animal is the barn owl, so I carved it for her birthday. I mean, he paid me to do it, but that's probably why it ended up being the nicest piece of art I did, because it was actually for somebody. Show you the eagle. This one looks horrible. This is the first one I ever did. my bald eagle. I did not put a lot of detail into it. Made it look like it was on a nest, but that's the corner of my property. The second bald eagle I did. Because Lewis wanted to go for a gator ride. Now, this is the second one I did. I have to redo my lettering. It's a wee bit, but I messed up the wings, so I just kind of stopped on it. Then the third one I did was the barn owl, but I sold that. Now I'm kind of curious where George went. Oh, there he is. He did come down. Well, thank you, Blake. You're welcome, Steel City. I live in a tiny town in between two major cities, and this is what the agriculture looks like in my area. If you go back and look at my past lives, I can see deer right there. I'll see if I can zoom in on them. If you look at my when I'm shed hunting, I'm always in this strip in between these two fields. That strip's about a half a mile wide on this end, and then it's pie-shaped as it goes that way. Little creek bottom. Yesterday when we were getting rain, it was like a river all the way down there, and I walked back there and it was pretty deep. My phone won't zoom in on them, but there's deer in the other field, just on the tree line. You might have been on Outfish. When I do a live, it's very sporadic. I don't really plan for them. It's just if I have the time to do it that day, and so, well, that could get me a watch hour or two or whatever. Like my splitting wood and cutting up wood. My last live wasn't really a planned one. That was just a spur of the moment. You guys talked me into it today, and I wanted to. Hey, there's some blue. And I wanted to remove some mods and try that out and see if that worked any better. Your live drop today? Live? I will have to check that out. Looks like that out here minus the mountains. Yeah. Yep. It's cool. By counties, like I can see a water tower way out there. And I was raised Orangeville, 10 miles east of that water tower. And it's basically like the far ridge line that you can see. But that's an entire county away. And then if I look to the north, I can see Kent County. So the southeast corner of Kent County got smoked with a tornado last night. And And that's basically that furthest ridge. In southeast corner would be like over there. About 15 miles is where that first one touched down. The second one touched down in Berry County, which is where I was raised, just on the other side of that furthest ridge. And then there's 2 more, but they were up in the upper Michigan. Go look at my elf some more. This dog back out. So like I said, I've never done a face. I'm a lot better with birds. We're gonna see if we can't get this figured out. Cutting this back. We gotta leave a good 2.5 inch for an ear, just because he's supersized. We want the bigger lobe and then the smaller lobe. So I'm gonna do the same thing to this side and push that back, just to try to keep it even. What's going on in Wisconsin? You said crick. Noise. Creek or crick. Just I think the signal looks nice. GunDog. Oh, you got a cottage on Lake Michigan? That's super nice. Jasmine. Live on the Great Lakes. Yeah, around them. GunDog, will you add more log to the bottom? I was looking at that because my dude is doing his meditation stance. So I'm thinking I might be able to match that. Here, hold on a second. Jasmine, I know you're new in here, and you're subscribed to a few of the people that are in here already. I'm gonna give you a wrench. So you can reach out and sub to anybody if you want to. It's easier when you have the wrench. You just click on their name and you can skip right to their channel. Check them out. Living in the open prairies for me. Hey, I like hunting open prairies. Give me a GSP, a 16 gauge. Skipjack Cindy, how we doing? So Skipjack, you caught the conversation on outfishes and how we're kind of experimenting. And I know you already know everyone in here. So I'm gonna take your wrench for a little while. Get some fuel in here. Probably gonna give it like a month and then add all you back if it doesn't make a difference at all. Don't know what to do with yourself when you're not fishing? Thinking about fishing? Watch some good fishing channels on YouTube. Exactly what you've been doing. Now the last fish I seen come out of the water, and I've watched all you fishermen lately, with Steel City. He caught a huge one. You should go back and check it out. I believe it was a 19-pound carp. I know Thunderstruck. No, it was anyfin. Anyfin is possible. I believe it was him that said they caught 30 trout. Alright, this is gonna look really goofy, but I think it's gotta be done. And I think I can work around it. Hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. This might look goofy for a minute. So basically, I gotta cut that little V out right there. But it's not little, it's on a man-sized scope there. It's weird doing wood carving, you can't just draw it. I can draw stuff pretty good, but a whole new ballgame with a 300-pound chunk of wood. David, you keep sneaking by me. And I've noticed something too. David, you'll have to see if you could leave me a message on a short. You were a managing moderator. I realized that when I was deleting a few of them, that some of them were standard and some of them are managing, so I don't know really what that means. But next time you'll all be standard, I believe. Still looks like a number 2 pencil, don't it? zoomed in. Critter getter. Critter, you see a lot of this, don't you? That just looked like a giant old beaver knocked that tree down. So his eyebrows are going to be in here, but in here is going to be deeper because I went too deep. So his eyebrows are going to be back in there, and then his eyeballs are basically going to be, because this is the point of the nose, and from back then it'll be fine. But his nose bridge, at least I got that angle, so I can carve his nose out of here, carve this back in there, and then you have some big brushy eyebrows. Some eyes back in there. And that's why it is a super huge block of wood. So if I don't like it, I can just keep going. Yeah, basically. What's that, babe? No. I was hollering at Lily. Did I let her out? Yeah, she's by the door. But I like to carve and sit and look at it and walk away from it, then come back to it. Let's see here. Let me throw that little battery saw. So I bought this thing because I do side jobs where I take down trees. And in Michigan, so say that fence right there was the neighbor's property. Well, in Michigan, if the neighbor wanted to cut all my branches off this tree, they could legally could. What's above your property you own. Well, sometimes I get hired to do that, where I go up and take branches off of trees that don't belong to them, but the branches do. Homeowners don't like it, so I use this little quiet saw so I don't wake the neighborhood up when I start my 201. But I bought it for that reason, and 9 times out of 10 I just use my 201. I'm out of the tree in 15 minutes, and the homeowner comes out when I'm leaving. I get this charging. Not saying it's a bad purchase. You have like little brush, it's a 4-inch bar. Battery lasts about 40 minutes, constant trigger time. It's very dangerous. This is more dangerous than a gas chainsaw. You set this down and your kid comes over and it's going. I always pop the battery out and put the battery way out of view. I got that charging. I kind of want to work on its nose. Sorry to mention the snow. We're still getting down in the 30s this week. Thursday and Friday. Don't get my watch on me. I think it's Wednesday and Thursday were possible 60 degrees. Maybe Friday and Saturday we're going to be back down in the 30s. And if it's in the 30s in Michigan and it's March and April, that means we basically still get snow. What's happening? That would be way over his face, but I can make that whole thing smaller later. What do you think?
Think we can do it, really?
starting to come together. I had breaded chicken and beets. I am about 100% positive. I'm pretty sure I got breaded chicken and Brussels sprouts. I've been eating cabbage rolls for 3 days. I do love me some cabbage. 3 nice crispy squares. I had lunch at 4:30. The couch grabbed me today after hockey. That's awesome. Thank you, Big Ken. So Big Ken Big, I removed your blue wrench. Trying to try some stuff. It seems like it's working. I'm probably gonna go a few lives without any wrenches, just to see if it brings the numbers up. I had Savalaka. Hold the phone. How do you say that? Savalaki. I haven't fully ate. Fam did. I have a plate and a nuker. I'm curious what that is, Outfish. What is Savalaki? I probably say it right, but is it called poutine? Poutine? When you add gravy to fries? Americans will get a 50-50 mix. Well, I love it personally, but I've talked to a lot of people who've tried it and they said they hated it. To me, it's just a different way of having mashed potatoes and fries. It's just your potatoes are fried. Well, if it doesn't look like a gnome, it sure does look like a tiki right now. Ramming for gnome. Shoots out the tree. Put in a little bit. I feel like if we got put in for his nose. Get a flat spot for his eyes. I might pull this plane that. I might use my skill saw for that. Flatten it. Your eyeballs. Stick. Appreciate y'all. Scroll up. I've had it homemade, but you made red cabbage that's pickled. Oh, is that what that is? All right. I love red cabbage, but I hate pickled food other than dill pickles. I'm good at work. Night shift this week. Russian beet soup. I'll make it homemade. Bruschetta. Due for a job again. That's good stuff, TC Chester. Thank you, Outfish. It's looking better than I thought it was going to. It still looks absolutely horrible right now, but I can work with it. Got the nose, and he's gonna have the big eyebrows. I cut these out deep, so I'm gonna have to carve an ear in here. It doesn't matter how deep I go in for his cheeks and stuff. It's basically everything down below can be beard. I'm gonna try to leave enough room to have like one arm coming in, and then maybe sitting like a toddler with his legs spread or something. But once he's finished, he's gonna go way up on that hill over there, and he'll look really good from a distance. Oh, we got Miss Critter in here. Outdoor Galore is Blake, in case you didn't know. The sun is officially set. It's coming for you. It's coming for you, Nebraska. Enjoy it for another hour or two. Lily, come here. I see my peacock and he's not in his cage. All the chickens are in though. So we'll lock them up and then go see if we can't get George in his pen. Yuck. I do gotta water you and clean you out. Proofing system. Comes out of my chicken coop. Wedge a shovel in there really nice and tight. Is it cold there? It's cold here. Got the muck boots on. It wasn't horrible when the sun peeked out for a minute. It's not horrible. It's 40 degrees, but when the wind's blowing, 40 degrees is cold here. It's supposed to get up to 60 degrees for 2 days. And then it's supposed to drop down to 30 degrees for 2 days. And I think we're supposed to be in the 50s next week after that. Come on, George, go in your hole. That's George and Carol. They're about 10 years old. They can live to be 30 years old. We had 4 tornadoes in Michigan yesterday. One county north of me, one county east of me, one county south of me. And then the other one was up by my river property in Newaygo. 80-mile-per-hour wind. I hope no more serious storms hit any of the states or this year. All right, there's 20 of you watching. Come up with a good name for this thing. Ken Big, appreciate it. Yeah, my uncle's getting up there in age, and he had 10 altogether, and he's afraid that they're gonna outlast him. So he's trying to get rid of them so they don't just go to random ass people. He wants all the bonded pairs to stay with each other. So I got a pair of them, and they could live another 20 years. They do lay eggs. I get about 10 eggs out of that peahen every year. I try to incubate them, but that's one of the hardest birds to keep alive is a peacock. And these are the chicks. Yeah, naming the gnome, Chester. It's not cold, I'm a big weenie. 40. Yeah, I'm not acclimated like I used to be. Before I had a kid, I worked outside all winter long. And since I became a halfway stay-at-home dad, tree warrior on the weekends, and worked the fruit farm, fruit season, I have not worked the winters. .47 in Maine. I bet that feels good to you though, Lewis. It's been colder over there. Yeah, I was just looking in my Snapchat, and last year on yesterday, because they give you the yearly reminders of what you were doing, I was putting straw down on the strawberries. I think I have a clip of that in my shorts, but that's what I'm going to end up doing here in the next week or two. When we think the last frost is, we'll get out the straw wagons and throw about 800 bales down on 6 acres of strawberries. That's a bad word, Blake. There's bird flu in every state, every year, in multiple locations. But I believe the last big bird flu deal we dealt with in Michigan was on the east side of the state. There was a giant hatchery that ended up having to off all their birds. You caught bird flu from the camerats? Camerats? Do you eat camerat? Oh, fishing beside dead birds. Okay. Dry throat. Where's my soda? Yeah, I'm a bird nut. I got pissed. I've always ordered out of McMurray's hatchery. You can order any kind of chicken you want from this place usually. And they got ring-tailed pheasants and all sorts of different stuff, 4 chicken coops and turkeys and anything you can desire. But they're basically sold out until August. because they're basically hatching for all the big meat bird companies right now. It's a soda, no pop. You live in Iowa. You should get some pheasants. That'd be cool. You know, I have a greenhouse frame sitting on a trailer over there, and I'd love to get my trailer back, and I'd love to put that greenhouse frame up. And I wanted to make it a fly pen for pheasants because they're very bouncy birds. They're not a bird you can just go in and pet like chickens. Robins. They're not something you can domesticate. So like you have to have a nice tall fly pen for pheasants. So I bought that hoop barn, or the greenhouse frames. It's 30 by 80 long. And I have all the net for it. It's just I don't have a flat spot in my yard. And being a builder for 10 years, true plumb and square comes to mind. And I want to do it right if I do it. But I don't want to put a greenhouse on an angle on a hill. Like, that may look like shit to some, but that was all scraps that was free and came out of the barn that stood behind it. And everything's true plumb and square. You can take a level to any of the walls. It's pitch black there already? I'm not wearing my watch. I would say the sun set here in the last 10 minutes. Like, you could still see the light on the horizon, but I can't see the... It's actually probably right behind his house, but it is down. Well, you're 500 miles. You're easily, if I know my direction, which our roads in our county are kind of straight, east and west, I would say outfish is probably 800 miles, not 8. 550 to 620 miles that way. Yep, due east. And this road is east and west. And then Miss Stacy and Critter are about 900 miles that way. Well, 2 ducks just went dive bombing over the field. Well, we got all the birds in. Fuck, I gotta water. Yeah, I'll do that after the live. I'm gonna go in the house yet. I haven't turned down my outside faucet. It does look good on there. You're using a Husqvarna chainsaw. Talk to me about throwing up. You just jealous because I got 8 more spark plugs than you. If it wasn't for the rust, this would be the best damn truck I've ever owned. I mean, it is a 2009. It's the first year they did this body style. Well, I think that turned out all right. I didn't mess anything up killer bad. Still got lots of room to work with it. Pa built this truck? Is that why it's fucking rusty? This thing did come from Canada. This is a Canadian Dodge. I don't know where it was made, but I know the owner that had it before me was Canadian. Paul's way. Are you responsible for this shit? Whoever puts these lights in the factory are the ones that are responsible. Not enough light here to see it. But if you look at any Dodge 2015 or older, you open up the back door and look up by this light and you can't tell, but this is all just water stained. That'll be the first thing that happens before any of the rust. And then this corner will go out, your back cab corner will go out, and it works its way forward. And this started as a bubble 2 years ago. But we put a lot of salt on our roads in Michigan. Lots of salt. This is all white pine that I'm doing this out of. I don't know if that's the typical wood that tree carvers would use, but it's nicer on my chainsaws for learning. And I kind of get a kick out of it. This tree was on this family farm for 80 years at least. We have pictures of this tree at 80 years ago when it was 14 foot tall. And it was every bit as tall as those two trees. Actually debating on taking those two trees down just because I don't want them on my house. But I want to cut them with 12-foot stumps. One would be like a 12-foot stump, and then the other would be like a 6-foot stump. I wanted to do a grizzly bear standing up. Yeah, that's just, it bums me out. My wife's great-grandpa bought this place, and he named it the Seven Pines. And that's the only two of the original Seven Pines we had. There was one over here when I moved in, and one on the other side of the house that was leaning towards the house that we took out. But that's what's left of the Seven Pines from 1890 or some shit when the place was bought. With those 80-mile-per-hour winds, I literally walked in the house, went to the front window, and I was looking at the ground where my eagle is, and the ground was moving about 3 to 4 inches. It's like, well, the wind was going straight that way, which is good, but still, trees that size, when they go down, that's 30 foot of earth that way that's coming up with it. My front porch, my stone foundation. Yeah, somebody asked me if I had a cellar the other day. Yeah, I do have a cellar, but I don't want that on top of me. And then that part of the house is crawl space, but the 2-story part in the back is basement. I'm gonna end up taking this Mini and digging a cellar in the side of my ravine out here. I'll dig a little storm shelter right into the side of that hill. Be a little bit of a run to get to it, but it'd be like a root cellar safety type deal. I want to, Critter. I want to. We planted a few and they all died. We just tried again with a different type of pine tree on the far corner. It was my son's first tree he planted, and that one's still going good. But that is the plan. We'd like to plant a row of trees. My neighbors over here, they own You can just see the outline of that set of pine trees to that set of pine trees. And it's like almost a football field, but we own behind them. So I kind of want to just make a wall from their trees to the road where my eagle is up there. But I'd like to turn half of this into a pasture. My neighbors are both retired and I'm mowing their yard now too. So all of this beautiful view is about 10 hours of mowing in the summertime. And that's with a 72-inch John Deere diesel lawnmower. Well, we got a record number of likes. We hit 30. I think I seen a top out around 25. So maybe de-wrenching helped a little bit. But zoomies. All right. Absolutely right. This big guy I'm standing under is literally 3 pickup loads every year of walnuts. I will say the chickens' eggs taste better in the fall because they land and I drive over them. The chickens sit there and eat them up, and it's a dark colored yolk. But it's getting cold. I gotta go eat. Appreciate y'all for stopping in, watching this. If you can, drop a name for this guy in one of my shorts. Maybe I'll figure out how to make a short out of my lives. If you see this pop up in one of my shorts, drop a name for it. Coolest, funniest name. Gets a fist air bump till I get some cool stickers made or something. Gnomio? Gnomio. Is that what we're trying to? Gnomio. Name him Chuck. I'm hoping to nickname my son that when he's a little bit bigger. He can start chucking all that firewood. So by this fall, from the road up there to about here has to be filled in order for me to burn all winter long and sell like I have been doing. Let's see if I can set my phone down and zoom out on some towers. So all these are Berry County. That's where one of the tornadoes was last night. It's past those towers. And they look kind of close maybe to you guys, but honestly those towers are on the far side of 131 Patterson Road. Those towers are at least 15 miles away from me. And if I pan, like if you come out here and it's pitch black and no clouds, I can count over 40 towers out here. Just radio towers. None of the wind turbines. All right, I'm out of here. Romeo. Nomeo. Like Romeo. Nomeo. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you guys. Y'all have a good night. Nomeo. I'll write that down. I'll screenshot it.